Hello, friends. Um, so I am a little bit late to this live stream because YouTube changed their like live streaming format kind of thing. But I'm here and everything's good, and you guys are here too. So sorry for being about 5 minutes late. I did intend on like coming on live right at 12:30. And it is now 12:35 because I had to spend an extra 5 minutes figuring out all this YouTube stuff. So anyway, who's here? Hans is here. Mrs. Dalmore, Oriana, Jeremy. I recognize all of y'all from Twitch and from the last YouTube live stream. Magic Monkichi, hello. Bren, hello. I don't think I've seen you around before. Welcome to the stream. Miko, hello. Shin, you want to know what's in the box? All right. Faust is here as well from over on Twitch. Wonderful. Yes, it's live. Oh, hi. Ice is a real friend, real friend, IRL friend, that is. So everyone go say hi to him. Nicholas, Phillips Music, Sean. Wow, looks like people are kind of filing in. Wonderful. So let's first get our intro out of the way, shall we? So first things first, Flute Center of New York and I, okay, are if you're new here and you don't know what's going on, I have partnered up with the Flute Center of New York for several years now. And so the dealio is that they send me boxes of instruments to review, get my reaction to them, get my thoughts on them. They actually help vet the instruments, so I don't have to say whether they're good or bad. They just send me instruments to try out, and I just get to try them out without having to make judgment calls, which is great. I hate making judgment calls. So as you can see here, there's a little discount code. And so this discount code is for those of you who want to order flutes through the Flute Center of New York. You can use my code JAF to get free domestic shipping within the US. You can get an 18-month warranty instead of your normal 10-month warranty. You get a 10-day trial instead of the normal 7 days. And you can take up to 3 instruments out on trial at a time. Make sure you're actually in the market to buy your instrument before you go and do the trial. When you are doing the trial, take off all rings and dangly jewelry that could potentially scratch the flute. I am married, that's why I have a ring on, but I'm going to take it off, put it on the side here. What else? Trying to think of what else there is. Right. Every flute, the flute will choose the flutist. All right. Every flute plays differently. Now, when I try these flutes, please keep in mind that this is just my reaction to these flutes. My word is not law. Please do not take what I say as the way it is. Okay. This is just my perspective on how these flutes play and the types of people that I think they would fit well on. Okay, so please do your own research. Please try flutes out on your own. If you are going to buy a flute, I do suggest that you do that trial. So if you want to do a trial through the Flute Center of New York, you just email them, call them, give them this code so they know what's up. They'll take care of things from there. Okay, so all that info and stuff is in the info box below. I actually have it there this time. Unlike last time. I realized last time I was like, next time I should put all that information below first. So it's all there, okay? Right, polishing cloth. Thanks, guys. So make sure you don't use the polishing cloth, the cleaning gauze, and the cleaning rod that comes with each new flute. From what I hear, they may not actually send those things to you guys because just to kind of mitigate this issue of people potentially accidentally using those materials when it's not theirs yet. So you can always just ask the Flute Center of New York to send you those items if it did not come with the flute. But yeah, if they are there, don't use them during the trial. Okay, use your own. I have my own microfiber polishing cloth, and I bought this little baby. It's a little silk cloth. You don't have to buy silk cloth. I'm just extra. Okay. Yeah. What else? Do you guys remember anything else that I need to do to talk about? Why do they include them in the package? Well, Jeff, there you go. Sometimes they are not including it in the package. Sometimes it's just like it just comes with the flute, and if they receive the flute and then immediately send it off to you, sometimes they don't have enough time to take it out, you know? So it kind of depends on like how new your flute is, you know? Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. So we're going to save our other flute questions for another stream or at the end of this stream. I really need to focus on opening this box. All right. So let me know, you guys, if you have any questions specifically pertaining to this review. Those are the questions that I will be focusing on today. If you want to, if you want to make sure that your question is addressed, I do ask that it has something to do with these flutes. You can use the super chat. That will help me out. I do very much appreciate it if you do support tip in that way. But yeah, I will absolutely see your question if you do the super chat. I will say try not to use too many emojis today, because apparently there has been a problem with people spamming emojis in live streams and then getting their Google account like completely deleted. So something with the algorithm is like there's something with the YouTube algorithm that thinks that like a spam of emojis means that it's like a bot account or something, and so they might suspend your account. So please refrain from emojis for now, just to protect your account. Okay. I see there are some emojis here and there, but you guys aren't spamming them. At least that's good. But maybe for now, let's just be safe and not use any emojis. All right. So I want to look out for you guys too. All right, looks like the moon is here. Who else is here? Jeff, you're here. I want to see. Yes, Victor is here. Ruth, hello, Ruth. Hello, Sean. Hello, Louie. New to the stream, longtime fan of the channel. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am still going to do those like shorter filmed videos, but they will be like slightly further apart in terms of upload, because I actually want to do them well. You can't actually really do them well every single week without completely burning yourself out. So because my full-time gig is actually teaching, so it's not actually video making. Surprise, surprise. So anyway, guys, let's open this up. I'm going to sit over here to do it. I used a bar stool last time when I put it over here to open it, and it was actually quite rickety, and it caused there was a bit of a traffic jam around here. So anyway, while I open this box up, I wanted to let you guys know, since you guys are here, you may notice how empty this bed looks. Normally there's it's actually dressed with a blanket and stuff like that. And so the reason why it is not dressed right now, and I forgot to tell you guys last week, but I'm moving. So I am in the middle of moving right now. We're not moving very far away. It's just that my hubs and I got a place of our own. So we are homeowners now, and we're just moving to a new place and starting our lives there, and it's going to be great. So there is going to be a dedicated studio just for my office, my teaching, making videos, live streams, and stuff like that. So exciting times for y'all, okay? This whole background thing, this is the last time you guys are going to see this particular background. Yep. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a live stream next week. I think I will, but it is moving week this week and next week. So it is kind of crazy right now. Please don't let it be a recorded. Oh, Jeff. Oh, I love y'all. You guys are so funny. So anyway, it's open, guys. Let's see what's in here. Oh, no, 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 no. Thank you, Carl. Thank you for the congratulations. It is quite a big thing to move and to be a homeowner. I spent all of Monday sealing the grout. Now, some of y'all are going to be wondering, you little Asian lady sealing the grout in the whole house? And I say to you, yes. And it's just because my husband has a very sensitive skin, and so it's easier for both of us. Or mostly it's just because I love him and I don't want his skin to react so poorly to it, because whenever he has a huge reaction, it takes about a month to 2 months for his skin to calm down. So it's a lot, and I don't react to those chemicals. So, you know. So, you know, I love him. That's why I did it. So I did that all on Monday, and it was crazy. And I actually spent 2 separate days sealing grout, because there's a lot of tile and I'm not a professional, so I'm slow, you know. Little Asian lady sealing grout. Yes, that's right. All right. The moon. Oh, that's really interesting. It would be great if I could review some flutes based on price range. So I did that once, and I like that you guys seem to like that idea. So I might submit that idea next for another one. How does that sound? Because I did one where it was like flutes under 5,000 or something like that, or it was like Haynes flutes under 5,000. So we basically did 2 ideas in one there. One was like kind of looking at flutes through the ages in one company to see how that company has evolved, and then the other part of that was they were all under 5,000. So interesting. Maybe I should split that up, eh? Maybe I should have one review that's like all one company, but kind of through the years with no kind of like price cap, whereas another one is like a price cap across different brands. Maybe. What do you guys think? Something like that? Yeah. Let's see. There's no good reason a little Asian lady should not seal grout. I love you, Sarah. All right, let's see what's going on here. I'm covering this so you guys don't potentially see my address. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna look at it off camera here. So what do we have here? We have 2 Yamahas today. So we have a Yamaha 222. Is that right? Looks like, oh, with a curved head joint. Hey! So I'm going to guess this is the new model. Now, the Flutes Under New York did send me a whatchamacallit, they sent me an email. Guys, I'm so sorry. I knew this was going to happen. Words are hard for me right now. Okay, why are they hard for me? It's because I am so tired from moving. So I'm not even gonna hide it from you guys. I'm really tired. But we're still gonna do this because I want to do this. Okay, I want to see what's in here. So, ooh, look at this. Look how new this is. Normally you don't get it in the box. Normally you get it just from the case itself. Ooh, look at this. Hello. Yamaha 222. I guess the U means the curved head joint. Ooh, very cool. Very, very cool. So we're looking at beginner model flutes today. This is going to be a little bit of a throwback for me. And I'll tell you guys this story since we're live streaming, eh? So since we're live streaming, I guess this is I think the part of the curved head joint might be in here. So very, very cool. Excellent. Now I do know Yamahas fairly well because I started on Yamaha. So I started on a Yamaha 225 SII. I believe that's what it was called. And yeah, good memories, guys. I was shown a curved head joint when I was a kid because I started playing the flute when I was 8-ish, like the end of age 8. So like the last few months of age 8. I started playing the flute. And when my dad took me to the shop to look at flutes, like, I had never heard of a curved head joint before, never seen one before. And so to me, it like was completely against what I wanted to play, because I wanted to play just the straight head joint. I know now that I probably should have gotten the curved head joint, because I feel like I would have had fewer issues with my posture later on in life, because I was just so used to playing like this. So, you know, I realize now that I probably should have gotten a curved head joint, but the past is the past, right? So you deal with it as it comes. So anyway, I thought it was, I'm not joking, guys, I thought it was really ugly, but it was only because I never knew about it. So unfortunate, tiny Joanna thought it was ugly. But yeah, I wish that back then they like, I wish it was explained to me a bit more, that it's like you should play this for like a few years and then upgrade to a, you know, a straight head joint. Like, I feel like it probably was explained to me, but it wasn't explained in a way that was, I guess, understandable to an 8-year-old. That's what I think happened, was that they maybe tried to explain it to me, but I just didn't get it because I was 8, you know? So, yeah. Semele, I'm guessing that's how you say your name. You also thought the curved head joint looked weird. Yeah, like, that's the thing, was that I just feel like it wasn't explained to me in a way that I could handle it, and that I understood that it wasn't a forever thing, you know, because like for some reason it got in my head when I looked at it that it was just like forever, I am just going to be on this this curved head joint, and like that's it, you know. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know why it didn't get into my head earlier on that, you know, it was going to be an easy upgrade in about 2 to 3 years, you know. People do say it needs more maintenance. Does it? Or are you talking about the black nickel Gemeinhardt? A box in a box in a box. Yes, I know, right? Okay, so let's write out these specs for you guys, and then right after I write these specs, I'm gonna go check that email that the Flute Center of New York sent me. Give me a second, guys. So I am going to type it all out, resize it, and then make it appear in front of y'all. I know, right? So, like, the production quality here, guys, is like 5 stars out of 10, but, you know, 5 stars. Let's see. Head joint, body, and mechanism. So silver plated head joint, body, and mechanism. Closed hole. Wow, this is bringing back memories, guys. I thought closed hole and plateau is the same, but you know what? They wrote it here, so I'm gonna write it here. Plateau. I just had lunch too, so I apologize for the kind of like talking through the burp. Do you guys do that? That's what I just did right now. Okay, pointed key arms. Now, okay, now that's new. So my first flute had Y arms, and they're called Y arms because they're not. There's the keys that you don't press on. They look like normal keys instead of pointed key arms where it has like a little spike that kind of holds the key from the rod, a little spike, and it's like welded onto the key itself. So pointed key arms. They look more fancy, and it actually used to be a sign that it was made more meticulously. So because it used to be that pointed key arms were more difficult to produce than Y arms, like the normal arm, like arms that connect the key to the rod. So, but right now, from what I hear, it's not that hard to create pointed key arms now. But it used to be kind of a sign of prestige almost, you know? So pretty interesting. And then this is C foot joint. And then we also have, looks like it's the curved head joint. So I will put it on here. I'll put it up on the top of this. So this is the curved head joint, which is only for this model, only for 222. So it looks like the actual whatchamacallit. So it's called YAM for Yamaha 222 CRV, which is for curved CRV head joint. Okay, so there we go. I have no idea how it looks, so give me a second here. What? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry guys, it is way too big. Let's see. Transform. There we go. There it is. There it is. Okay, so and we're going to move it down here so then you guys can see what all the specs are. There we go. Ba-boom, guys. Look at this production quality. Okay, if you guys don't get it, I'm making fun of myself, okay? Big font, I know, right? I love that you guys are totally in on, like, the production quality of this. You guys are fantastic. Interesting. Okay, so Jeff brings up an interesting point, which is that a beginner flute is going to be easier to get a sound out of due to the head joint. Now, I just want to give you guys a little bit of history with that. It was not always the case. It's that in recent years, the in terms of marketing to to new flute players, they have been, in the last 10 years or 10 to 15 years or so, they've started to make head joints that speak more easily. And so, like, the obvious choice to put, of the type of flute to put that type of cut on is a beginner, right? A beginner flute, because then it'll make, the flute player be able to play more easily. And if you can play more easily, you'll actually stick to the instrument. You know what I mean? So it's partially like, hey, let's make life easier for people, and partially marketing. But it was not always the case. Just so you guys know that this is more so in recent years. It's a thing to make head joints for beginners speak more easily. So what is plateau model? Plateau is plateau keys, and plateau keys are closed hole keys. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. Some viola guy. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Grunty Meat Shield. I do like your username, by the way. We need more animated cartoon cat gifs floating around the border for max production quality. I see you are an internet person. You are a true internet person. Yes, I do agree with you, though. Okay. Jamie, you love sarcasm, so do I. Okay, so I do have my flute out there just in case I wanted to compare with it. Usually I don't, but I mean, I was teaching, so I was like, you know what, I'll just leave my flute out, So let's open this baby up. Oh, wait. No, I said that I was going to go check the email. So give me a second. I'm going to be reading a little bit to myself. So I'm going to read it first, and then I will share with you guys any parts of it that are especially interesting. So let's see. Okay. So, great. I am glad I did not mention any prices in here. So you guys can go look this up yourself, okay? Because apparently I'm not supposed to. Sounds good. Okay. So the Flute Center of New York will sell these flutes, this flute and the curved head joint for the guaranteed lowest price possible. And then you can use my code as well to get that free shipping and stuff. All right, there we go. I'm glad I read the email first before I started going ham on this. All right, so you guys go ask the Flute Center of New York for the pricing, okay? And then they will give you the lowest possible price if you're interested in this. So, shall we? Shall we? Oh my gosh. This is throwback, guys. This is a throwback. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So, Yamaha, they changed the box. So, I want to, you know what? I'm going to do it. It's going to be a little bit awkward while I make my way to my little trunk over there because I have some things in the way. So, give me a sec, guys. I want to show you my Yamaha because I think that would be interesting for you guys to see. Kind of like, let's look at how they've changed this, okay? This live stream is going to go for a while, so I feel like we have the time to do this, okay? All right. This is mine, okay? So let's just do a direct comparison first with my Yamaha from like more than 20 years ago and the new one. So if you look at the case itself, you see how it looks a little different now. So this one has more of that rounded edge and this is more of that kind of very kind of like sharper, cleaner edges. It's aesthetic, guys. This is very 90s looking. This is very 2010s looking, okay? So clean lines, a little bit more of this curved thing. I have stickers on there because I was a kid, okay? I got this when I was 8. So they've also branded the top of it now with their logo and their name, whereas they did that here, but it's just kind of printed on. This is like an actual plate on here, like it's a metal plate. Before they just printed it right on. So upgrades all around, even in just the case. So let's open this baby up and let's just kind of, I think this is really fun to compare. Oh, I'm sorry that my camera is going wild here. So yeah. So Brandon is correct. My old flute was a 225 SII. Yep. So I know. Let's see if you can. Faust, you are hilarious. I love you. Okay, so let's open these up. I think you guys can see what I'm doing here, right? Let's move this over here. Let's move this over here. There's more stuff. There's more stuff in the box, okay? But let's just move it off to the side for now so we have a little bit more working room. Okay, so all right. There. You guys can kind of see what's happening now. So let's open this baby up. That's mine. This is the new one. So if we look in here, so this is the old one. And so what they had in here, I don't know if you can tell from the lighting, but this, the lining of the case was like, it's like kind of fuzzy and has lots of little hairs. And so the thing that I was really annoyed about when I was a kid was that, and you can actually see it now, the little hairs from the lining will shed and it'll get all over your flutes. So I'm just going to gingerly pick this up and you can actually see the little hairs kind of on the flute. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So like there's like this, there's like a few here. I don't know if you guys can see this, guys. It's focusing on my face. Come on, camera. I'm not that pretty. There we go. I don't know if you can see some of those hairs on there. No, you can't. But trust me, there are little hairs all over. It's as if someone like had a haircut over your flute and like the little hairs, like if someone got a buzz cut, right? And then they like, as like little hairlings everywhere. You know how you get, like, for you guys out there who get short haircuts, you know how you get those like tiny little hairlings everywhere on your neck and it's like really itchy? Well, it's like that, but on the flute. So I was really annoyed with that before, but you can see in their new version now, it's not little hairlings anymore. It's more of like a velvet texture. So upgrade, I like it very much. So yeah, very different from before. I feel like they like knew that this was not, you know, they knew that they had to do away with that kind of hairy lining. So they did away with the hairy lining. The other thing that they have changed, which you only really see this in very old flutes now, but it used to come with a metal cleaning rod. So a metal cleaning rod is not really good for the flute because metal against metal will scrape it. And so technically speaking, this shouldn't hit the flute inside because normally your cleaning cloth here, right? Usually the cleaning cloth will cover the metal rod, right? So like if you go like this, you do this, right? Technically speaking, you shouldn't really hit much of the flute at all like this. But if you thread it through the instrument, you will hit the flute with the metal rod. So they did away with this, I would say maybe 10-ish, 15-ish years ago. So basically shortly after I got mine was when they kind of started to do away with the metal cleaning rods. So you don't see these anymore, guys. Like this is vintage now. Okay, so you don't see this anymore, and they used to put it on the edge of the case here. You see that, right? They put it in here. Ooh, right, you see that? Okay, so it used to be on the edge of the case. There's this little kind of divot for you to put the cleaning rod in. Now they have a little holder for it in the middle. You see that? So what's interesting here then is that you can't actually take out the cleaning rod unless you take out the body first. So let's take the body out. Put it on the side. Oh, it's so pretty. It looks like a much more professional flute than mine did. So anyway, it's nice and lodged in there, this cleaning rod. So I like that. It's like it has its own little place in the middle and it won't fall out. I think that's the thing I also did not like very much about the old design. So Yamaha, if you happen to be watching this, if any representative from Yamaha happens to be watching this, I just want to say thank you so much for the well thought out upgrades. Okay, because you did away with the hairy lining and you made it so that, well, like, you know, this is now a plastic cleaning rod which won't scratch your flutes. Also look at it, like it's so thick and it like it's plastic, but it's fashioned to look exactly like professional wooden cleaning rods. Like it, look at that. That's so nice. The other thing with this cleaning rod, if you guys don't know, there are like this line here. You see that little divot? So when you put it up into the head joint, it should line up in the middle. Yep, there you go. It lines up right in the middle, that line there. There we go. You see that line? So it lines up right in the middle of the lip hole. And if the line lines up in the middle of this lip hole just like that, then it tells you that the head cork is in the correct spot. Yeah. And the old cleaning rod did not have this. Does it? No, it does. Oh, that's really bad then. Because that means that you would totally be putting metal into metal. Sorry, guys. So I never knew that it had this. I never even noticed it. It does have a little divot. You see that? Ooh, that's really bad then. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you would be scratching up the inside of your head joint, putting this in to see if the head joint cork is in the right spot. So, very glad they upgraded it. It just, like, look how much nicer this is. Isn't that great? Oh, has nice weight to it too. It feels really good. So yeah, and yeah, so I do really like that it has its own sort of like spot in here that it kind of pops into, and then that way it doesn't fall out, because mine has fallen out several times before, back when I was a kid and I was using it. But yeah, I love that it just kind of like is nestled in there. That's really nice. Very, very nice. All right, so let's now show you guys that the difference between the pointed key arms and the Y arms. Yeah, so it's easiest to show on the foot joint because it's the smallest part of the instrument, but you can see what I mean between Y arms and pointed key arms. So this guy has Y arms because the part that connects from the rod to the actual key is this little like kind of Y-shaped arm. So hence it is called a Y arm, okay? Whereas this little guy has a pointed key arm. You can see how it's like a piece of metal that connects from the rod down straight into the middle of the key. It is like a little pointed arm, hence it is called a pointed key arm, okay? And so does this do anything to your sound? Absolutely not, okay? But it is kind of a sign that it is made with a little bit more meticulousness. So yeah, it makes this guy look a lot more professional than this guy. Pretty cool, right? So I will hold up my flute so you can see what it looks like. All right, there you go. That's what it looks like. Now you guys can see where I bought it. But anyway, so that's what this guy looks like versus this guy. Like, if you just look at this guy, he looks a lot more professional looking than my guy here. Now, do they play differently? Well, okay, if I play this one, it's not going to play as well as this one. Like, immediately, I can already tell you that, because this guy needs an overhaul, okay? So my old fellow friend here, okay, needs an overhaul really badly. So, you know, but yeah, I really do think this guy looks quite a bit more professional. So there you go with the, that's kind of my initial impression first, just from the kind of like visual upgrades that they've done over the years. Let's now look at this guy. So I do recall that this is a thing now, where the head joint, the curved head joint, has its own compartment here. So this is actually a very hard compartment. Ooh, this is good, because I think I tried a different, like a similar idea, but a different brand. I can't remember which brand, but the compartment for the curved head joint was not this hard. So this is nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice. All right, so yeah, see, the curved head joint is just in here in a little bit of bubble wrap. So we're gonna, yeah, there we go, bubble wrap. There we go. That's what it looks like. We are going to be the first people opening this up. All right, there we go. So there you go. Lovely, cute little head joint. And I guess when you're not using it, you can just pop them in here. Boop. I would say it was probably better if you put this guy in a little thin bag, or if you guys just put him back in this bag and then put him in, it might be might protect it a little bit more. But overall, it looks really great. Looks good. We will try that. So we're going to put that on the side here. So this is interesting because normally as a beginner, you don't get this type of, like, it almost looks like a French style case and cover type of thing, like case cover. So has this little do not eat package in here. So let's put that on the side. So this can make your otherwise beginner looking instrument case, it can make it look more professional too. So the idea is that you can stick them in here and then it'll zip around the case. There you go. I think I wasn't able to show this on camera before because there was another brand that did something very similar. So, whoop, give me a second, guys. There we go. There we go. So, you zip them around, and the zippers end around the handle. All right? So, there we go. So, you end up with a very professional looking case. Isn't that wild? Like, man, beginners these days have it good. You guys have it real good. So I'm very happy with these upgrades, because if I remember correctly, in the olden days, getting a curved head joint meant that you had like a completely different hard case too. So the case was gigantic because of this, like, you know, curved head joint business that you had to also fit in there. So I love the fact that when you get a flute like this, it looks like a regular flute, and also you do get the regular straight head joint that you know you can upgrade to, but you just kind of have this add-on curved head joint on the outside of the case. I think that's a really cool idea because it makes it so that the transition into just having a straight head joint is a lot smoother, a lot less awkward. You don't have to get a completely different case or like a completely different flute, you know? Yeah. Anna Glow, welcome to the stream. Hello, Deb. Yeah. Do the Y arms or pin arms make a difference to the mechanism, or is it just for the looks? Quite honestly, it's really just for the looks. When you're playing them, you can't really, they don't make it smoother or anything like that. They really don't. It really is a prestige thing. Yeah. Huge embouchure hole. Hey, you know what? Okay, you make a good point. Let's compare the embouchure holes, shall we? Also, I am talking so much that my mouth is getting dry. My Twitch streams don't feel like this, because my Twitch streams I'm also like playing, and I'm also like there's actually slightly less preparation than this does. So this has quite a bit more preparation. But I like your idea. Let's go with your idea. Whose idea was that? Someone was saying that it was a huge embouchure hole. It's Jeff. Okay, so we're going to go with Jeff's idea, Jeff's observation, and I'm going to spin off on that and do a little comparison. So, let's do this. So, old head joint versus new head joint. So, this is the old one. Okay, that's the old head joint. Now, let's look at the new one. And I'm going to take a look at it first, okay? Yep, so the shape definitely is a little different. Not by much, though. I would almost say that the new cut is a little bit more square, whereas the old cut looks like the edges are just kind of like stretched out a little bit. So I don't even know if you guys can see a difference. They obviously have maintained kind of the Yamaha cut. There are some instruments out there or some companies out there where you look at their head joint cut from 20 years ago versus now, the cuts are wildly different. Whereas here, this is really interesting. I feel like Yamaha really has kind of like kept to their general look of their cut and thus their general sound. So I'll show it to you guys here. So oh, that's really interesting. The new one's a little heavier. Huh. Yeah, wow. That's really interesting. Yeah, the new one's a little heavier. Okay, so this one's the new one. This one's the old one. So I don't know if you guys can tell, aside from the inside of my flute being really dirty, can you see? I think you guys can see that. There you go. You can kind of see that this guy up here is a little squarer than this guy. Just a bit though. I'm trying to put them side to side. There. Hopefully it's actually focusing on them and not on my face. There we go. So, yeah, the one on the bottom is just a hair like elongated than the one on the top. The one on the top is a little bit more square. Just a hair though. So, now the thing is both of these are silver plated. So I do wonder why the new one is a little heavier. But yeah, they've definitely kept the Yamaha look. 100% they've kept it. I almost feel like the lip plate here is a little bit more curved. Like there's a little bit more of like a sharper curve to it. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's very, very subtle. The difference is very subtle. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I don't think you guys can see it. But yeah, very subtle differences. Yamaha has definitely kind of kept their like general look about it. It does look like the opposite edge of the lip hole. That edge is a little bit like, it's not as long. It's a little bit shorter, and so it like the edges are rounded a little bit more, which causes it to have more of a rectangular shape. No, more of a square shape than a rectangular shape, but only by a little bit. It's very subtle. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. So the new head joint is a little shorter than mine. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, the new head joint's a little shorter. So I'm lining it up on the top there. Yeah, it's a little shorter. That's so interesting. So they must have done something, like they must have done something a little different with the tuning. Yeah, because like you can even see where the head joint ends is, yeah, it's shorter. That's so cool. So it's shorter, but it's heavier. That's so interesting. Okay, let's see how this manifests and how it plays. Oh, very cool. Okay, I'm just looking at more, like, just to see if I can see any more differences. I don't really think so, though. Ah, okay. So some very subtle differences I see here. I don't know if you, yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. But I'll show it to you one at a time, just so I don't drop the instrument. One day, guys, I will have multiple cameras, and I'll have a top-down camera, and I can actually like show you guys even better. But one day, it'll come very soon because I'm moving. Okay, so all right, you see this B flat lever? So you see how short it is, right? Like it's quite close to the other keys. So the new one is not like that. The new one is lifted up quite a bit higher. You see that? Like, look how much higher that is. That's crazy, right? Like, whoa, you can really feel that. Yeah, that's quite a bit higher. SJ, hello. Miguel, I've seen your name around. Welcome to the stream. Zaza, wonderful. Okay, Magic, I want to see what you're saying. The new looks a little bigger, curved to the lip plate. Oh, you can see the curve to the lip plate. Good. I like it. Almost like they minutely made everything a little bigger. Yeah, that's what I feel like. It's really weird how it's like everything is just a hair bigger, but the whole head joint is shorter. It's so interesting. Oh, you guys can also see that it's like a little heavier. You can see from the way I'm holding it, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, you guys can all see it's a little bit bigger. Yeah. So it's very This is so interesting. Wait, let me feel. Wow, the new one is like, even the body is a lot heavier. Yeah, the new one is just straight up heavier. That's really interesting. I'm not sure why. I don't want to make like a, an assumption here of why that is, but I can definitely say it is definitely heavier. It's definitely heavier. That's so interesting. Obviously, I've never tried the curved head joint from my day, so I don't know about this, but I'm assuming that this is also heavier. Huh, interesting. Okay, I want to see the. Okay, so as for the whatchamacallits, the trill keys, I think the trill keys are also taller. This is the new one. So these are the trill keys, and they use plastic in here. They used plastic before too. So on higher model flutes, these here, these little brown things are cork, but on lower models they're plastic. Yeah, easily. Look, this is my old one, and these are much lower down. The new one is quite a bit higher up. Yeah. Yep. It's definitely a little higher up. You see that? So I think this caters more to beginners, so that you can feel, like, you can actually feel when you're accidentally hitting the trill keys, because one of the biggest issues for beginners is accidentally hitting other keys, because like let's face it, the flute has way too many keys. Okay. So like, if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, one of the biggest issues is that you just keep accidentally hitting other keys. And so I think with these keys being higher, it is better for a beginner, so that you don't accidentally hit them when you're playing. Because I did find that to be an issue like 10-ish years ago when I was teaching. It was really hard to like teach kids to be like, hey, hey, you're hitting like different keys that you don't realize you're hitting, because they're all just so close to each other. So yeah, great improvement, Yamaha, for that. Like, it's clearly they were thinking about their beginners, so they do have the customer in mind. I do like it. Their upgrades are real good. Really, really good. I feel like, did they change? Yeah, no. Their foot joint looks exactly the same, with the exception of the pointed key arms. So they just made it look fancier, basically. Wonderful, guys. We've been going for a while, just admiring the visual aspects of the new Yamaha beginner. So we are going to put it together, yeah? Hello, Sasha. Welcome to the stream. Hello from across the pond. I'm glad that you can make it. There was one, this is the reason why I wanted to do this stream like at about like midday my time, because I know that for you guys across the pond, it's a lot more comfortable if I'm streaming midday, because then it's your like evening. So I'm trying to choose different times so that different people around the world can catch this. Sheen brings up an interesting point. You wonder if these new / old versions of student flutes would contrast like heavy wall versus thin wall versions of more advanced flutes. That's really interesting. That's a really interesting theory, because there is a going theory right now where some people say that like, in order to kind of push yourself to create like have like better lung capacity, train your lung capacity, etc., etc. So there is a working theory right now among some teachers that say that like, hey, students should use heavy wall flutes because it will just force you to play more and to like use your lungs more efficiently. So I don't know, that could be one of the theories here. Could be like, maybe as a beginner, like the heavier flute will get you to just kind of like, use your lung capacity more efficiently faster. Maybe. Rally! Rally, right? I remember you. How are you doing? How is life? Deb, your flute is from the 1980s and worth $100. You need a you need a flute soon, but it still sounds good. The guy who cleaned it said he's never seen yours before. He said the sound is good and it's in good shape. That's fantastic. That means you guys have been taking care of it. Excellent. Amir, yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, beginner flutes nowadays are made to give you great habits of holding the flute. Yeah, because we all know that at some point in the flute playing life, we all struggled and still struggling with flute hand posture. Yo, I get it, man. Same here. I'm a small person. I know it doesn't look like that on camera, but I am actually quite a small person. And so when I play the flute, I do kind of look a little bit more stretched out than a lot of other flutists look. And it's because I am. Because I'm a small person. So, you know. All right. Shall we then? I think it's time to put the flute together. I've been talking for like almost an hour now. Time flies when you're having fun. Now, I really enjoy the fact that I have this much time to like do a comparison like this, because Lord knows I do not have that kind of time when I'm making a filmed, edited video. I love taking the time to look through all of these differences, and a lot of times you guys don't know this because this is happening behind the scenes, but like what, you know, for those like prepared videos, what I do is I try the flute on its own. I look at all the differences. I like write down all these notes, and a lot of times at least half of those notes don't even make it into the video because it just makes the video way too long. But in a live stream, I can take my sweet time to do these comparisons. So I do think this is really interesting. I like Yamaha, if you're watching, good freaking job. Like you really are catering to the student, and I love it. As a flute teacher, I like if my students work well on a Yamaha, like I know that they're going to have a great time, because it is obvious, like even from the case design, cleaning rod design, to the design of the like mechanism itself, really good for beginners. Love it. It's great. Okay, so we are going to put my flute off to the side. Let's put this baby together. What do you guys think? Should I try my old flute first and then this one? Or should I try this one first? What do you guys think? I'll let you guys choose. Let me know what you think. Which one should I play first? So I will, however, play the straight head joint first. I'll try the curved head joint later. What do you guys think? What do you guys want me to do? Oh, I'm glad you think these videos are cool, Rally. All right, I'm waiting for you guys. Tell me, which one do you want to hear first? I'll put them both together. How's that? While we do that. You're watching from Israel. My goodness. It's still a sane hour, I think, right? See, if I started streaming later than this, it would be like in the wee hours of the morning for you. So, old one. Okay, you guys. So, looks like we have a majority on the old flute first. All right. Sorry, Victor. We're going to go with the old one first then. It does look like it's a majority. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's do this then. Ooh, my foot joint is so tight. I don't remember that. Maybe some weird expansion business happened or something. Ooh. Oh. This guy needs a bit of work. All right. You guys ready for this? I just pushed the head joint all the way in. Or maybe I'll have it come out a little bit, because I don't know how the tuning of this will be. It is in the wee hours in Singapore. You're watching from Singapore? Dude, man. 5:30. You are so extra. You were here from the beginning. So you got up at 4:30 for this? Did you seriously get up at 4:30? You crazy. Thank you so much for the support, man. That's crazy. Okay. Ooh, do you guys hear that? Yeah, that needs a little bit of a overhaul, a little bit of a fixie. Yeah, that's not good. You hear that? Mm-mm. So, please keep in mind, this flute has not been overhauled. I will bet that it never even been clean oiled and adjusted, because I didn't even hear about the whole COA thing until after I got the flute after this. So, never knew about it. So this guy probably has not even been adjusted at all. Okay, so please keep that in mind. We're not trashing on this guy, okay? Also, I have some sentimental, like, you know, attachment to this, all right? Your foot joint randomly fell off the other day. Oh, no! Yeah, that means that you need to get that joint in there, that tenon, that needs to be kind of widened so that it fits a little tighter. So take it to the shop. Don't worry, it's actually a very typical issue to have. My own professional flute needs that right now too. The foot joint is a little bit rickety. So it's just, I haven't taken her in for like a year. So yearly maintenance is a thing you need to do. Okay. Incoming COA. Okay, you guys ready? So why don't we do the same thing? Let's run the whole gamut, shall we? We're going to do harmonics. We're going to do the tone color, dynamics, articulation, mechanism. Did I say articulation yet? Something like that. Okay, so let's run through the whole gamut. So we'll start with harmonics first. Ba-boom! See, I'm prepared this time. All right. Yeah, it definitely needs work. I'm going to guess that the head joint cork badly needs to be replaced. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, peeked out a bit. I will say I'm a bit tired today, so even on my own flute, that top 8th harmonic wasn't really coming out. So oh, thank you, Amir, for saying that you like how my channel has progressed from when you started to watch. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I have noticed that over the last year, especially since I've started Twitch, that I was like, wait a second, all of my content is kind of gearing more towards this sort of direct interaction with you guys. And I started to make my videos that way, and my filmed videos don't actually work. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like creatively, they don't actually really work in the way that they were done, because I made them in a way where I wanted to get an immediate response from you guys, but it's impossible to do that if you upload and then wait for comments, right? Like that's not an immediate direct interaction. So I do appreciate what you said, man. That means a lot to me. Ooh, that low C is real temperamental. There it is. Okay, so Yamahas all play very similarly in that they're very linear. So you kind of feel like you have a straw in your mouth, and then depending on how high you're playing, that straw goes further and further back in your mouth. So for this guy, this is the 225 SII. This is the old one, and like from 20 years ago. And what I'm feeling is that for the low note, I feel like I have to start blowing, like start that rushing air, like at my lips. So the straw is like literally at, like the one end of the straw is like at my lips. As I play higher and higher, I almost feel like that straw is kind of like going into my mouth more. And so you start the rushing air from further back in your mouth, and it's just kind of sitting in the middle of my mouth like this. All right. And I have to keep a nice big sort of like negative space open underneath that airstream. So I got to drop my jaw and just kind of like as if I'm sort of holding some like a pocket of air with my lower jaw. So, and then that airstream is doing that. So very linear, very simple. It's very good for beginners because it's so linear. There's no like weird like path business that's happening in your mouth. Like some flutes, you kind of feel like the air is hitting up here, then out. Some you feel like it's hitting up here, down, and then out. So it's like, you know, the air stream itself can do some wild things depending on the instrument, but Yamahas consistently are very linear and very simple. So it's very easy to teach a beginner on them. Like I would say that from a teacher's perspective, that's kind of the issue here. Yeah. Okay. So that's what's going on here. Nice big pocket of air in my jaw, like kind of like held by my jaw. So my jaw has to drop. I came up with a very interesting way of explaining that to one of my students. I explained dropping the jaw as it's as if you're holding a marble here and a marble here between your teeth, and that will cause you to drop your jaw. All right. So that's harmonics on this guy. Let's just quickly go through the rest of the other stuff that I usually test. So the next thing I test is tone color. So let's just kind of do a really kind of like quick job of this, just so you guys can hear it on the old flute. So I'm playing with the negative space that, you know, where I said that I'm holding that pocket of air with my jaw dropped. So that pocket of air, it's like behind my front teeth, but kind of like you really feel like you're holding it with your jaw. So that pocket of air that is sitting under the airstream, I'm actually messing with that. So if I make it really flat, it gives you that big reedy bitey sound. And then if you make it kind of like, if you squash it the other way, like vertically, you get that hollow sound. So oh, it's hard though, because this guy needs an overhaul. Okay, so that's tone color. Just real quick. And then I will spend more time on the new one. All right. This is just to give us an idea of like what they've changed over the years. So tone color, we're going to work with dynamics now. Let's try that. So yeah, same thing, which is that for forte, you got to make everything big. So including the airstream needs to be really thick and big, just like your airstream times 5, basically. That pocket of air also has to be like times 5 or as big as you can get it. Lots of air through, but because you're putting a lot of air through, it will make your tuning quite sharp. So you have to redirect the air down a bit to correct the tuning. The exact opposite happens for playing really soft. So if you're playing really soft, got to make everything super tiny, but because you make everything super tiny, including the airstream and that negative space in there, the flute will want to fall flat. So you have to use your lips to redirect the air upwards, and that'll make it a little bit sharper for you. So I will say is that this flute very distinctly is better at playing pianissimo than forte. You can force it. You can force the forte, but it's very finicky and it wants to crack. So maybe we can see if the new one has mitigated this problem. Maybe. We'll see. And then after dynamics, let's do I guess mechanism or articulation. Let's do articulation. So articulation, we're going to do single tongue. Now, what I do know about Yamahas is that Yamahas tend to tongue very far back in the mouth. And I think it's partially to do with the fact that your airstream is so linear that if you tongue too far forward, what you'll end up doing is kind of obstructing the airstream. So if you obstruct the airstream basically like by tonguing against like the bottom of your teeth, you're basically like tonguing in the airstream itself. So in order to avoid the airstream completely and make it really clean, you end up actually tonguing against the roof of your mouth. This is a very Yamaha thing to do. I find that this is the case on like pretty much every Yamaha I've ever tried. So if we do F major, like if I do it like too far forward, it ends up sounding like. Do you hear that? Th 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 th. So if you hear a th 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 sound in your tonguing, it means it's too far forward. Okay. So if I go way too far back, so let's try to tongue as far back as possible. Do you guys hear that thunking? Thunk, 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 right? So if you hear that thunk, then that means that you're too far back. So we have to go somewhere in the middle there. Do you hear that? Right? Nice and clean. And that's because the tongue is now like on this flute. It's like in my mouth, I feel like it's like half a centimeter on the roof of my mouth back from the top front teeth. So the top front teeth, like these are my teeth and I'm tonguing like behind it on the roof of my mouth. Okay. Oh, Jade, thank you so much for saying my live streams are so nice. Oh, that makes my day. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you missed the hand-drawn pictures of the tongue. Yo, I do too. It's just that right now we'd be hooking up way too many things in order to do that. One day I will. So the dream right now, guys, the dream live stream setup is to have this camera, a top-down camera, so I can show you guys like close-ups and stuff like that, and then also to have have the whole like drawing thing set up on the side as well. Right now that's a little bit too much to hook up, but that's the dream, guys. That's the dream. It will come back. It'll get better, guys. It'll get better. Okay, so all right. I do agree with Peeps here saying that if I were to compare this with my Brandon, it's an unfair comparison. Yes, it is. So we ain't gonna do that, okay? Because I didn't know what flute at all. Like I had no idea what these flutes were gonna be. So if they were Brandons, then it would have been very, interesting to compare with my current Brandon, right? Like that'd be cool. Okay, so that's articulation. Oh, right. Double tonguing is, it's actually in the same place as your single tongue. It's just that you're doing an extra motion. So yeah, so because the tongue is so like quite far back, it's like on the roof of the mouth, the double tonguing part, you do kind of feel like you're almost cheating it. So that is kind of the drawback of having your tongue so far back. So far, that's the only drawback that I can really think of on the Yamaha. But if you get used to it, you get used to it. It's not a big deal. As you can tell, I can do it. So, and if I can do it, you guys can do it. So it's, if you guys like Yamahas, you'll love that feeling. Okay. But if your mouth is not made for a Yamaha, then, that's another story. So Let's now do the mechanism. Now, okay, the mechanism, it's not going to be fair at all, but I'll do it for the sake of comparison. This guy very badly needs an overhaul, so there's some clickety clacks and stuff going on. So if we do F major. You know, for something that needs an overhaul, it's not bad. So that kind of attests to the durability of the instrument. I will say, even though I am a grown woman, these keys still feel gigantic to me. So I think I will see how that feels on the new one. Let's try the trills. Right, there's no gizmo on here. What am I even doing? Okay. Like, it's good, right? I wouldn't say these are incredibly bouncy anymore, but it's only because I think it needs an overhaul. Okay, so let's now try, after a sip of water, shall we? Let's try the new one. Okay, so let me switch this back to harmonics. I'm going to guess it's going to be fairly similar, but not exactly the same, because we can see that the cut is a little different, and once the cut is changed, it does kind of change how it feels. So yeah. All right. Definitely plays very differently. I would almost say that this flute plays a little bit more sweetly. Do you guys, I don't know, do you guys hear that? So yeah, very similar. I need to figure out that low C. So the way that I know that I figured it out is if I can push it and it just rings. Ooh, nearly hit it. I'm gonna go up and down a bit more. Oh, how does it feel differently on the hand? The part where your fingers touch, they made that part smaller. I don't know if you can see the difference here, but this is the old one and this is the new one, and that middle circle of the closed holes is a little smaller on the new one, which as a small person, I can tell you feels more comfortable to small hands. It does, it feels good. It, like, they've shaped it to a point in this new version where you almost feel like you're playing an open hole. Like that's a first. I've never felt that on a closed hole flute before. That, like, you're right. It does actually make me feel like I'm playing an open hole flute, even though it's closed hole. That's new. Thank you for bringing that up and bringing that to my attention as to how it feels. Yeah, it feels better to small hands. Okay, I'm experimenting with a slightly different embouchure. I'm noticing that it's a little bit more responsive the more frowny your embouchure is. Wow. Wow. Okay, I have a suspicion, guys, that my mouth is almost too short to play this. So too short as in I don't have enough space. I almost feel like I need more space out here in order to play that low note really, really strongly. Because the way that I am currently playing the second harmonic is the same way that I would play the lowest C on most flutes. So this is telling me that this flute is actually very forward playing. Let me try my old one too. I wonder if it's actually the same thing. It's even harder on my old one. Ooh, I'm starting to get it. Okay, I'm starting to get to feel it. So what I'm starting to feel right now is that my old one, it was a lot more linear, like it was like this, but I'm starting to feel now in this new one we have a little bit of this action going on. So on top of the like you feeling like you're starting to rush the air at different points in your mouth, the airstream itself is tilting forward like that, like down and forward as you go higher, which is probably what's giving me the problem right now with that low note, is that maybe I'm aiming too low and I need to aim it more across. I'm trying to find that sweet spot. Yeah, I think I'm not hitting it where it wants to be. Hello, Railroad Kid. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, the harmonics are coming out with a little bit of resistance. So I'm not playing it exactly the way this flute wants. So I need to keep doing it until I get it. So you guys are in for the long haul, okay? I'm doing this live. So, all right. Yeah, so definitely if you start blowing from further in your mouth, you just kind of jump the octave. So it does have to stay forward, but it's just where forward is the problem right now. Fusion. Oh, that's interesting. That would be fun to review. Happy birthday, Peyton Hughes Gaming. Happy birthday. Alright, you know, guys, I'm just going to make sure I'm not just having a really bad low tone day. So I'm just gonna... Alright, guys, I'm playing my own flute now. I am having a bit of a hard low tone day. Okay, yeah. I am struggling a little bit today. So, give me a second while I figure this guy out. Lower jaw slightly further back for C4 than C5. All right, because you have a Yamaha, right? You hate those days when one register won't work. I knew this was going to happen during one of the times that I actually try flutes. It's okay. It is what it is. Ooh, it really doesn't want to come out. With the way that I'm playing it, just doesn't like me. We have a viewer from Japan. Welcome, welcome. I can only read the first katakana letter and the last katakana letter. I don't know that middle katakana letter. Otherwise, I could actually say your name out loud. See, the problem here is that you have to figure out the harmonics before you can figure anything else out. Otherwise, the other stuff doesn't work. All right, let's try the higher harmonics at least. Oh, is that what you're doing? I almost got it a bit. You have to full on, like, move your jaw forward, don't you? There it is. Jane is right. Mrs. Dallimore here. What flute model would I recommend if I was starting out with the flute? Yeah, you have a strong foundation in music. I mean, really, any of the beginner flutes will work. It really depends on what works with you. So try all the beginner flutes. Probably the more well-known ones, you know, like Yamaha, Trevor James, Jupiter, Gemeinhardt, you know, like all of the like really like fairly well-known ones. Like try those out. Dijau is a good one, you know. They all play very differently, so you kind of have to like try it out. Like start out maybe playing a rental, and then after you play the rental and you want to buy one for yourself, then you know you try it out. All right. Thank you, Blank Palette. It's coming out, guys. It's coming out. I got it! And it was directly inspired by what Mrs. Dallimore said here. So, you guys remember what I said about the whole, like, okay, I'm going to give you my profile here. So, if you're playing low notes, so this is what I said about Yamahas. The older models, the way it worked was that you would play starting, like, you would start that rushing air for low notes here, just at your lips. And then as you went higher and higher, you would kind of hit different points in your mouth. Like the straw would just go inward like that. So on this one, it's that, but at an angle. Okay, which is why what Mrs. Dallimore said here is correct. It's that your low notes, that point at which the air starts to rush is down here. So it's down here under your lower lip. And then as you go higher and higher, you're not only because it's that same thing of you're starting here and then going back, but the whole thing is tilted this way. So when you start that rushing air to play low notes, you start it here, and then as you go higher and higher, you can actually feel your air starting to rush, or you can feel your air stream hitting different points in your mouth going diagonally upwards. So did you guys hear how clear that eighth harmonic was? And like before I was only able to like just squeeze it out. It's coming out really clearly now because I'm hitting it exactly where it wants to be, which is like up here, rather than because I was hitting it down here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm basically targeting certain points in my mouth, and I'm like blowing the air to that point. And that seems to kind of like come out a lot better. So low notes, I aim here, and then as I go higher and higher, I aim the air to hit diagonally upward like that. Isn't that interesting? So everyone please thank Mrs. Dallimore for the inspiration for figuring this out. But yeah, it is a diagonal. So the 222 works like this. I'm just going to make sure that my old one is the other way. Yeah, it's the old way. So the old way is you can actually feel it here. So right here, and then it just kind of linearly goes back. And then the new one is all of that, but at an angle. So oh yeah, we got it, guys. Thank you, Mrs. Dallimore. Mrs. Dallimore is the best. Yeah. Okay, so interesting, guys. So this is the difference then between the new version and the old version. The new version, actually, you are actually hitting it at a different angle. So, okay. Now, I don't know if Yamaha meant for this to happen, but this is fantastic because this will make it much easier for you to upgrade from this instrument to an intermediate or a step-up model with more ease. I did find that as a teacher, it's really difficult to get a student to kind of switch from the Yamaha way of playing to an entirely different flute. Like, even if that flute fit them more, the habits from playing an older model Yamaha took a while to break for them to move on to the other one. Now, with the new version having that kind of Yamaha feel but at an angle is much closer to how other flutes play. So this puts Yamaha's like much closer in relation to other flutes. So when you make the jump to a different flute, it's not going to be as bad. Okay. Before, it used to be pretty bad, for myself included, because I went from this to a Mateki. So it was tough for me. I didn't know what was happening to me, but there are things like my articulation didn't really work out. Certain registers weren't speaking the way that they used to, etc., etc. The older Yamaha models are kind of in a world of their own. They very much do not feel like other flutes. They're kind of their own thing. Whereas this now still maintains that Yamaha feel where it's like quite linear, but because it's at an angle, makes it a lot easier as a teacher to kind of like guide your students to, you know, whatever they upgrade to afterwards. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Scott. You just ate some noodles? I want some noodles. Yeah, this is great. I'm so thrilled. This is a very interesting discovery, guys. Very interesting. And I am, you know what? It's true. I am doing this review more from the perspective of a teacher because, you know, this is a beginner model flute and I'm a teacher, so I can't really help it, okay? But, oh, Yamaha, if you're watching, great. Absolutely fantastic change to what you've done here. I love that you've maintained the Yamaha feel, but just made it a little closer to how other flutes feel. Love it. Love it. Love it. Don't eat and play the flute at the same time. I agree. I agree, man. Okay. Have you guys heard horror stories of like things rotting on the inside and stuff like that? Yeah. That happens. Don't do that, okay? All right. So we got it. We got it. Oh, that was a struggle, but we made it through together, guys. We made it through together. So let's now do... So the rest of this is going to be really easy because now that we figured that out, we can just manipulate it, okay? So we're going to work with tone color. Now, because... Oh, and I spell it with a U because I'm Canadian, okay? So now, because that whole thing is at an angle, okay? So let's review. The old version is a very linear way of playing. So it's very, like, this is your airstream, okay? And then you have this kind of negative space right here. So what I noticed on the new flute is that, yes, you still have that negative space, but because the whole thing is tilted this way now, your negative space is now here. So your negative space is actually just a hair further back in your mouth, which if you do that thing where you pretend that you're holding two marbles with your teeth here, so between your teeth on both sides towards the back, like it's as if you're holding marbles with your molars, okay? If you do that, that'll help you keep that open space there, okay? So I'm going to guess we're going to play with that negative space right there because that's how the old Yamaha worked, okay? So that pocket of air is now further back. We're going to play with that for our tone color. There are two ways that you can play with tone color. One is either with the airstream itself or with the negative space underneath it or above it. This is what I find is across the board works on every single flute, all right? So I know that from before we were messing with the negative space, so I'm just assuming that the new one also messes with the negative space, okay? Does that make sense to y'all? Okay. Oh, you want to hear my noodling? Okay. You know what? I skipped that, didn't I? Let's do a little bit of noodling. Yeah, it speaks so well now because now I know how it likes to be played. You guys can hear that, right? Like it just works now. So I think that's why I was saying that I felt like my mouth was too short, was because I knew that I needed to go somewhere. I needed to go further out somewhere, but I didn't realize it was down, not straight across more, you know? Okay. Is that enough noodling for you guys? I might noodle some more later when we have some time. Let's do tone color. All right, let's try this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the extremes of tone color, okay, guys? So we're going to go to like a reedy, bitey tone, okay, into a very hollow, woodsy tone, okay? So in the way that you do that is, I like to describe it as you're either smashing it horizontally to get that bitey, reedy sound, or you're smashing it vertically to get that kind of hollow sound. And you can either do this smashing to either the airstream itself or to the negative space above it or below it, okay? We are going to do it to the negative space underneath the airstream because that's what worked on the old flute, the old Yamaha. Do I ever try multiphonics? I have before, but I have forgotten the fingerings for them. I could probably look that up sometime, but maybe not in this live stream. All right. Yeah, that negative space is definitely like tucked in a little bit further back than the old one. Do you guys hear me like messing with it? You can hear me going from that bitey sound to the hollow sound to the bitey sound, right? Yep, that's exactly what we thought here. So messing with that negative space underneath that airstream. So for those of you who are just joining, we just discovered that the 222 plays like this. So your airstream hits different points in your mouth, but at an angle. So like if this is your mouth, okay, then to hit your low notes, you have to hit the, you have to start your rushing air from like your chin. I know that sounds weird, but you have to imagine it that way, okay? So you have to imagine starting the air around your chin, and then for all the other notes, as you go higher, you're just kind of going in a diagonal. You're starting the air at different points, but diagonally going up until you hit the roof of your mouth for the highest notes, all right? And then underneath that airstream, okay, wherever you're starting that airstream, underneath that airstream, kind of behind it, there's a little bit of a negative space that you're holding on with the bottom of your mouth. So you are holding that kind of like a big pocket of air, kind of, I would say like between the like your middle bottom teeth. Okay, not here, but like on the side, your side bottom teeth. What am I saying? Okay, so you're kind of like holding it, big pocket of air in there. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. We'll try 1 octave higher. Let's do it without vibrato. It's definitely more effective in the lower register. I wonder if this means that I need to move that spot. No, I accidentally moved it to a different spot. It's the same spot. Like I'm smashing it so far that I almost feel like I can feel the pocket of air being squished off into my cheeks. That's how much I'm squishing that pocket of air. There it is. There it is. You guys hear that? Yeah. You can actually see me like, yeah. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Excellent. Excellent. So we figured that out. You have to like squash it so much that it gets into your cheeks. And then when you like lift it, the whole thing just kind of like your whole mouth has to go like that. Okay. Tone color done. Let's do dynamics. Dynamics is essentially for anything really, really loud. You make everything super big, but you also have to kind of redirect the air a little bit further down just so it's not too sharp. For soft notes, you make everything super tiny, lots of support, and you kind of like you direct the air upward a little bit with your lower lip just to correct the tuning. So on the old flute, it was a lot easier to make a sound that was really soft. So pianissimo was easier on the old one than to be loud. So I'm gonna guess it's a similar idea happening here. We'll see what happens. See, like it really wants to crack, right? Like it cracks easily. So it doesn't like to be pushed too much in the forte area. Can you guys even hear that? It's very good at piano. Very good at piano. So I wouldn't say that this is the type of flute that you're looking for if you're looking for a flute with a lot of power. I don't think this is the one for you. This has a very kind of like concert flute feel, like classical concert flute feel, like orchestra flute. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit more on the delicate side. It's not what someone here is looking for a flute. Yeah, Benjamin's looking for a flute that has a nice jazzy gritty sound. Let me tell you, this is not going to give that to you. Okay, so I do like to recommend that Gemeinhardt 2 Black, or at least some sort of flute with a lot of nickel in it, will really give you a nice kind of gritty sound that you're looking for, I think. But this is a very kind of like sweet like orchestral flute. All right, this guy would be really good for like, you know, a youth symphony or something like that. It will give you that nice sound, you know. But yeah, I would say, yeah, this one doesn't like to be pushed that hard. It's a little finicky, and you can do it. You absolutely can, but it doesn't like to be pushed too much. You hear that? Right? Like it's a lot better at being soft than it is being loud. So yeah, so you just need a lot more control for the fortes. You kind of need to know exactly what it wants out of you. If you do, you're good to go. But I will say that the pianos are a lot stronger than the fortes on this flute. All right, guys, so that's dynamics for you. Everything just super big. Make the airstream super big. Make the pocket of air super big. Make your aperture super big. Pour lots of air in there and aim it a little bit further down to get your tuning okay. And then do the exact opposite. Make the airstream super tiny. Make that pocket of air super, super tiny. Like super tiny, okay? But it still has to be there, but it's like tiny, tiny, tiny. And then lots of air support. And then, you know, prop up the airstream with your lower lip to correct the tuning, and mwah, you're good to go. You can hear that kind of crazy control that you can get on here. So very good. That is dynamics for you. And then let's do articulation. So this is going to be interesting because our airstream is now at an angle. I'm going to guess that the tonguing actually has to be now, because before this was your airstream was very linear in the old one, and so you were tonguing, like, let's say your teeth were here, you're tonguing here. But because this is now angled this way, I'm going to guess that the point at which you tongue is now also a little bit more forward, which this is a good sign, because this means that maybe on this new flute you are tonguing a little bit more forward on a Yamaha than you normally would, like at least in the old versions, which again makes it a little bit closer in terms of feel to other flutes, because other flutes tend to tongue more so kind of like on the top back edge of your tooth, like where the tooth meets the gum. Lots of flutes like to tongue there or a little bit under that. Okay, so this is kind of the range that most flutes like to tongue in. Some flutes like to tongue all the way down here. But I would say most flutes like to be somewhere along the teeth. The Yamaha was kind of in its own land where it was like tonguing back here. But maybe with the whole airstream being tipped forward this way, maybe it now wants to tongue right around there. So that is my suspicion right now. Let's give this a try. So I'm doing F major. Yeah, it's exactly there. Because if I go too far forward, it'll do that th-th sound. Do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear the th-th-th-th-th? Okay. Now if we do the old version of the Yamaha tonguing where it's like on the soft palate, I'm gonna guess you can hear a thunk. Yeah, you hear that? It's thunking. So exactly as I suspected, because the whole airstream is now tipped forward like this, our tongue is no longer against the soft palate. It's where the teeth meets the gum now. All right, so yep, so it's a little bit more forward now. Cool. Okay, so double tonguing means that the single tongue part of the double tongue, the T part, hits the same spot. The K now is, I would say, a little bit more further forward than on the old one. A little bit more further forward, and it's kind of hitting your tongue is going like this. So it's hitting your soft palate. All right? For that back end. So it goes ta ka ta ka ta ka ta ka. Okay? All right. All right, this makes double tonguing on this flute easier because it's actually more forward. Ironically, the further back you tongue for double tonguing, the harder it is actually, because you run the risk of the tongue getting sort of caught in your throat. Whereas if all of it is more forward, it's easier to remember to keep it light and just kind of bouncing like this. So Another great improvement on Yamaha's part, making that double tonguing further forward in the mouth. It just feels a lot better. You really don't run the risk of swallowing your tongue. Man, all around good things, Yamaha. Like, seriously, I hope someone from Yamaha is watching this, because I am very much enjoying the all the upgrades that they've done over the last 20 years, basically. Okay, let's now try out the mechanism, shall we? Sorry, I keep hitting my mic, which to me makes no noise, but I realize to you guys makes a lot of noise. Okay, let's now do mechanism. So I made a mention earlier that, interestingly enough, the little middle circle of the plates are actually kind of like quite a bit smaller than they used to be. They used to look like this. Do you see how that's quite a bit bigger, right? That's quite a bit bigger, right? And so here, like, you really kind of feel like it's almost oversized to you if you have small hands. Whereas this, the way that they've shaped it, one, it's smaller, so you can actually feel the whole kind of like rim of that middle part, but they've also shaped it so that it's not completely flat. It's like has like a little divot like this, like it has a little well, like very tiny. You can't really see it if you're not actually feeling it, but you can feel with your fingers that there's a little well, and so it gives the feeling of an open hole flute, which yet again is a great thing for beginners, because this gets you used to that feeling, and then when you move to an open hole flute in the future, that feeling is not as alien to you. Isn't that great? Like, I never thought of that is something that you could do. Like, genius, I say. Genius. It actually feels like this is the first closed hole flute that I've ever played that makes me feel like I'm playing an open hole flute. It's so cool. Oh, do you want to hear flutter tonguing? Okay, let's try it. So I'm aiming the flutter to be around where I'm articulating, or as close to it as I can get. That is, like, if I were to do it on this one, I probably have to do it further back in the tongue. Yeah, exactly as I suspected. So you ideally you flutter closer to where your flute wants you to tongue normally, and then it'll kind of come out a lot better that way. Yeah. Okay. So, let's try F major scale. Beautiful. There's a nice resistance. It's like resistant and bouncy at the same time. So the bounciness kind of gives that sort of like professional feel, but it does have that extra weight and resistance that is really good for beginners, because for beginners, you're still kind of getting used to it. If you play an instrument that is too responsive, you will very easily get annoyed by, like, you know, all the little blips and stuff. So like with a little bit of added resistance, it kind of helps smooth out your technique for you. But I love that it's both resistant and bouncy at the same time. Fantastic. Let's try scale in thirds. Yeah, beautiful. Bouncy with a little bit of resistance. Perfect for a beginner flute. All right, let's try these trill keys. They're bouncier. So it makes, do you notice how, like, the trills are very brilliant sounding because they're bouncy. So it does make a difference. So usually the B flat lever is a floppy key, and this is not floppy at all. It has a really nice bounce and resistance to it. Yeah, normally it's a pretty floppy key. Did you guys hear a difference between the two ways that I did that? The second way, I was like, oh, right, I have to remember what this flute wants out of me. And then I did it, and mwah, beautiful. Steph, you are late. It's okay. There's still like a good chunk of the live stream. I've been comparing my old Yamaha 225 SII with the newest beginner Yamaha model, the 222. Some good stuff. They made some really good improvements to this. So go ahead, after this stream is done, rewind back and listen back to all the thoughts that I have on this guy. Lots of great improvements. Love it. Excellent upgrades. From the perspective of a teacher, excellent upgrades. They maintain the Yamaha feel, but they kind of make it a little bit closer to how most other flutes play. So when you make the jump to other flutes, it's not quite so stark of a difference. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Okay. So, lovely. All lovely stuff. Feels good, guys. So now we have a little bit of extra time, and this is actually perfect amount of time to try out the curved head joint. So I'm going to guess with the curved head joint, it's actually going to cause it to kind of resonate a little bit differently. I'm probably actually going to hear more of the sound up in my face a little bit more rather than off to the side. That's what I find is the case whenever I try curved head joints. It's just the way that it resonates is a little bit different, and kind of it throws me off a little bit because I'm not really used to curved head joints. So let's try this, shall we? I'm going to pop this guy off and put this guy on. All right, here we go. It is a bit of a loose fit. I would say it's one of those things that is just very easily adjusted when you go to a, like once you buy it, just ask the Flute Center of New York to kind of fit the curved head joint a little bit more tightly. So, because it shouldn't just slide in that easily. There should be just a hair, just a tiny little bit of resistance. Okay. So I'm going to move this to such a way that I hope this feels comfortable to me. I'm not sure if it will, but let's try. Okay. All right. Oh, yep. See, it's sliding all over the place. So we are going to have it sitting a little bit higher with it rolled towards me a bit more. Okay. Yep. It needs to be tightened. Okay. All right. Got to be real light with this then. It plays the same. I don't think that there is a difference. Let's see. Let's show you guys. I'm gonna guess the lip plate cut is like done via factory, so it should be like exactly the same, because it feels, yeah, it is. It feels exactly the same. Sorry. There we go. See, you see it, they're carbon copies of each other. So yeah, I don't see a difference at all. They're complete carbon copies of each other. So in terms of how you play it, I think it plays exactly the same way that we've been talking about. Okay, I am going to add a tiny piece of tape just so it doesn't move around. Now the problem is my tape is in the new place. Okay, maybe I can't, although I have a little bit of tape here. Nah, let's not. I don't think that type of tape is safe on here, so let's not do it. Okay, we're just gonna be real ginger, like play very gingerly, okay? I'm gonna roll this towards me. Okay. curved head joints with alto flutes, do they have the same effect? Yes. You kind of you hear the resonance of the flute, not so much in your right ear as much as you normally do on a normal flute, but you hear it in front of you, right? Because this part that's usually here is now in front of you. So it does resonate very differently around you. Okay. I'm not going to use a piece of paper because I'm scared of jamming it. Okay. Okay, we're going to do that. There we go. So I will say, playing those low notes, it's a little bit easier to aim out here because you can actually hear it resonating in front of you. So that, for a beginner, that's actually pretty good. I have to fit it to me first. Okay. Woo! You know, I swear that curved head joints did not look this dainty before. Because the one that I saw before, it was like huge. It went over like this, and then it had like a bracket here. Like, do you guys remember the same thing, or am I just imagining that? Like, it was like bass flute, alto flute style. Or maybe they showed me an alto flute. I don't know, because I was 8. I don't know what I was looking at. But I don't remember it looking so, like, cute, you know? All right. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So Magic, you remember it that way too, right? It was like, it wasn't this cute. Like, it used to be like with like a bracket. Like, it, yeah, okay, so I wasn't imagining it, right? Like, it did used to look very plumber pipe and weird. Yes, it used to look like that, right? Like, it was like this, and then there was like a bracket. It was really, it didn't look cute. Like, this looks cute. Look at that. Like, I think I would be more inclined to play this at 8 years old now than when I was 8 years old. Tighter U shape. Almost like the posture of a piccolo. Yeah, exactly. Like, before, it was like, you were playing like this because it like came all the way out to here. So you're playing like this, which is very different from playing like this, right? Like, this is much closer to actual flute posture. Like, with the straight head joint, you know? Yeah. So I'm not going to try for that top one because I need a lot of pressure and I can't do it right now. So let's try everything else. We're just going to make this go away. Okay. There were some concerns that my lung capacity wasn't like developed enough to play at 8 years old. So and rightly so. I was a small child. I was a small bony child. So there were some concerns, but I really wanted to play, and my dad really wanted to like help me realize my dream, you know. That's true too. That when I was smaller, this would have looked gigantic to me. But like Magic remembers it, right? Magic, you remember it like coming out. Like it came a lot further out than this. Because I remember when I first started to try some curved head joints now, I was really surprised by how compact they are. Yeah. Okay. It's the same. It's the same cut. So I will say, because it's resonating right in front of your face, this sounds louder. So that would be both a good and a bad thing. If you are very if you're very sensitive to loud sounds, you may not like the curved head joint, simply because it's making all the resonance in front of your face. So I'm feeling like this sounds a lot louder to me than on the other one. Just in general. However, the great part about this is that you can hear what you're doing. So like, I can imagine teaching a kid on this and being like, hey, make it really big. They can do it because they can, it's not so far away from them, right? It's not like, it's not making sound here, it's making the sound right in front of them. So like the response is much more immediate and in your face. And I feel like as a beginner, if you're asked to do different things, you can actually like really hear and feel it more so than on a straight head joint. That's really interesting with this. I feel like I'm playing the piccolo. This is so nice. Ooh, that's nice. That feels, oh, it feels so comfortable. Okay, what else? You can actually also hear when your tonguing is off a lot more clearly with the curved head joint. Again, because it's resonating right in front of your face rather than off to the side. So this would be really good for beginners to learn their articulation properly. I'm gonna be real with you, Daniel. I do not circular breathe. I just straight up don't. Now, if I did a live stream on me learning to circular breathe, that might be interesting. So that might be an interesting idea, but I will not do a live stream teaching it. I might possibly do a live stream learning it, though. How does that sound? Yeah? Okay, so I really only have one thing to say about the head joint, which is that it is fantastic for beginners, because not only does it make the whole posture a lot more comfortable for you as a small person, but you can actually hear more of what's going on. You can hear your tongue more. So if you're thunking too much, or if you are like going too much, you can actually hear it, which explains one of my youngest students I ever had. So this was many years ago. I taught, oh my gosh, she must be so much older now. But many years ago, I was teaching a very young student, and I was teaching her on a curved head joint. I think she was the only student I've ever taught that was on a curved head joint. And her tonguing was impeccable. Her tonguing was amazing. She was like tiny. She's like a tiny girl. tonguing was amazing. Anytime I told her to do something like different with her mouth, she could immediately do it. And I think it's because she could hear it like literally in her face. Whereas before, like normally that is with my other students, we do kind of have to go back and forth a little bit because it's not as immediate of like a like hearing response as like with something that creates a sound literally right in front of your face. So not just good for your posture for if you are a tiny person, it is fantastic for learning because you can hear more of what's going on. So if I may suggest as a wild idea to those of you out there who really want to kind of learn faster, consider the curved head joint so that you can hear yourself more. Like now I understand why my tiny little student had the most impeccable tonguing. So clean. It was so clean. I think it's because she can immediately hear if it was thunking too much or if it was just thing too much. So she just kind of naturally found that middle spot because it just sounds the best when it's kind of like broadcasted in front of her face like that. Oh, yeah. Yes, Isabella, that is exactly what circular breathing is. It's when you breathe in while you're breathing through your nose while you are breathing out through your mouth. So it's literally circular, right? So you don't have to stop to take a breath. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Some of the best people at it are tend to be clarinetists, I find. They tend to be the best at it. And when they show off, you know what? At first, I used to think they were a bunch of show-offs, but then now I'm like, no, if you know how to do it, you show it off as much as possible, man. That is a fantastic, fantastic skill to have. Great party trick, too, you know? So, yeah. All right, guys. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to stick this guy off to the side. I want to try out a few tunes on this new one. Shall we try out my favorite tunes? You guys know what my favorite tunes are, right? You guys know I love Concerning Hobbits, right? Let's try a bit of that, shall we? So I have to remember how it plays, though. Let's go for a more hollow tone. And I did all that by making sure I was hitting the right spots, okay? So moving that point in my airstream according to that kind of diagonal airstream, like diagonal kind of like pattern that I noticed before. Also dropping my jaw to make it as vertical of a negative space under there as possible. What do I think about the split E mechanism? Some people feel it and it helps them really well. Some people, like me, do not feel a difference at all with the split E mechanism. So it really depends on the person. If you find that it helps you a lot, get it. 100% support. However, if you do not feel a difference at all with the split E mechanism, don't get it because you can't feel a difference anyway. Though that is exactly my feeling about it. Oh, you like this? Okay, let's try a different thing with an entirely different tone color, shall we? We're now going to try the Narnia's Lullaby, okay? So just to give you guys a little bit of a background on that one, Narnia's Lullaby, the one done by Mr. Tumnus, in the movie, he's playing this like two-pronged instrument that looks like it should be kind of like a very, very sort of airy recorder-ish type of sound. But it's totally not, okay? Like, if you actually listen, like, pay attention to the recording, it's a reed instrument. It totally is. It's a reed instrument. I'm pretty darn sure it's a reed instrument. So, What I'm gonna try to do now is get as reedy of a sound as possible. Okay. Now the thing is, this guy doesn't have a low B, so we're gonna have to make do here. Okay. So. So I need to, in order to get that bitey sound, I need to kind of like squeeze that negative space until it's like really, really flat and like getting into my cheeks. So. Did you hear that? Yeah. I could play it a half step higher, but it's gonna sound so wrong to me, so I don't want to do that. Did you hear how lovely biting sound that was? Yeah. So you gotta like squeeze that negative space until it's like in your like the pockets here. Okay. Can we as flutes do circular breathing? Absolutely yes. Also, I've been telling you guys when this live stream was happening. You go to my website, JustAnotherFlutist. There was a countdown there the entire time, and I have been putting it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So please follow my social media, if only just to keep up with when these are gonna happen. Okay. You can also just check my website. There will be a countdown there right on the homepage. There's a blog post there that has that the countdown to these live streams, because I have to schedule these live streams according to when I have a pocket of time in my schedule, and my schedule changes every week, which makes it very convenient for me to change the times of these live streams so that different people can catch it live. Yeah. Hey, Camille! What's up? How are you doing? How's life? Haven't caught up in a while, man. Okay, so what have we done so far, guys? We've done Lord of the Rings, we've done Narnia. Let's do Treasure Planet. So Treasure Planet is a really cool one. So the Narnia, the Lord of the Rings one, I was trying to go for a more sort of like wooden flute sound. The Narnia one, I'm going for more of a reed sound. And then the one that I'm doing now, Treasure Planet, which I think is Captain Silver's theme, is a penny whistle sound. So the penny whistle sound is kind of like hollow and soft at the same time, which is a nice little challenge for us. So essentially we have to make that negative space kind of squashed vertical, but also really tiny. So that combination is a little bit challenging, but it's really fun when you can pull it off. Okay. So, whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, that part is actually the violins take over. But did you guys hear that? This flute's really good at that. It's really good at that like tiny sound. That's why I was wanting to do that. Also that jump up to the F sharp, nice and smooth on this one. Very impressive for a beginner flute. Right there, that B to the F sharp. is so good at that, man. Like, it's like, so on some flutes, getting that like penny whistle sound takes a lot of effort. This one is like effortless penny whistle sound. So if you're going for that soft sound, this one will just, it'll just give it to you. It's good for that. It's really good for that. What are multiphonics? So multiphonics is when you play into an instrument that normally only plays one note at a time, but you play multiple notes at the same time. So multiphonics, like literally many sounds at the same time. Yeah. You know what, Shinjin? I was looking into the YouTube post function. I was gonna do that, but then I got carried away with moving. So it's just going to be kind of like this, using social media for the next bit until I settle down. I do intend on utilizing sort of the YouTube post function too sometime. But it's just right now, I'm so busy right now that like I tried to look into it and then was going to use it. And then I ended up having to kind of divert my attention elsewhere. So thank you for bringing that up, though. I do intend on using it. Yes. So you guys will hear about it sooner or later. But for now, please follow my social media or just check JustAnotherFlutist.com. Front page, front and center, first blog post or one of the first couple will tell you when the next live stream is going to happen. If it's not posted yet, it's simply because I haven't scheduled it yet. All right. Awesome, Camille. Oh, what a wonderful life you're having right now. Congratulations. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So, I want to play around just for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna have to sign off, guys, because I need to teach a lesson like very soon. So what should we do now? Someone mentioned to do some Zelda. I could try. I don't know what key I'm supposed to play in though. See, I'm really bad with my ear. I'm doing it in the wrong key, aren't I? You guys really want to watch me learn to circular breathe on camera, eh? You guys are so funny. You guys just want to watch me suffer. That's what I know. See, I get it though, okay? Because right now I'm binge watching the Hot Ones interviews. I am planning on binge watching all of them. That's my goal, because there's something about the way that those interviews are done, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Also, Sean Evans, the interviewer, is probably the most amazing interviewer I have ever watched before. Like, the way he does his research and the questions that he asks, absolutely phenomenal. So I have been binge watching them, and part of the joy of binge watching them is to watch people suffer. So I get it. I get that it's fun to watch people suffer. But, you know, like, I do think maybe in the future I could do a circular breathing one, since you guys are asking for it so much. Might as well. And no promises that I will learn it by the end of that live stream, but you know. Yeah. Isn't Lost Woods different though? Like a different theme? You know, that's Epona. Sorry guys, I'm so sorry. I feel like I missed something in there. Sorry, guys. Robert Dick's book on circular breathing. Maybe what I can do is buy his book and then like learn it on camera in front of you guys. What do you guys think? Lostwood starts on F. So the only thing I'm thinking of is it the, isn't that Saria's theme though? Ha ha. Sorry guys, I'm so bad at it. Yeah. So but yeah, oh, love all those themes. But yeah, I would have to learn those themes better and then play with the tone color. Like the reason why I actually learn all these themes is so I can play with tone color. That's actually how I, you know, figured out tone color to begin with, was just me procrastinating like heck. All right, guys, I need to go. I just saw the time. I am like a minute over. So I need to clean all this up and then teach a lesson, and then I'm done for the day, and then I have to keep moving. So surprise for those of you who joined in later and didn't hear the news at the beginning of this stream. I am moving. So please say farewell to this room. This is the last time you guys are going to see this room. I am moving very soon, within the next few days. We'll be in a new place. Some people were asking if it was a good reason or a bad reason. It is a good reason. My hubs and I are now homeowners. We bought our own place, which of course means that we're now paying a mortgage. But hey, what's a death deal? You know, it's all right, right? So, but yeah, there's nothing else in the box. Nothing else. Like the rest of it is only stuff like the, you know, the typical Yamaha package, right? With like their little instructional manual and their gauze and polishing cloth and stuff like that. I've shown that before on other Yamaha reviews. They include the same one in like almost every single one of their flutes. So if you guys want more information about that, go ahead and look at those ones. But I figured I didn't have to do it again, you know. So I love y'all very much. I will see you guys in the new place. Things are crazy right now, so I don't know when the next live stream will be. Whenever I schedule it though, it will be up on my website, JustAnotherFlutist.com, and it will also be broadcasted via Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So please go and check up on those. I cannot promise that I can like make a video to announce on on YouTube because I moving, okay? Moving's hard. So moving to what state, country? I'm just moving 5 minutes away from here. Okay, we're not moving very far. It's just that we found our own place now. That's all. So, yeah, we're moving very, very close by to where this place is. So, mwah, love you all very much. Thank you so much for joining on this wonderful, fantastic, fun live stream. It was really fun to like kind of explore the differences between the, you know, old Yamaha beginner and the new Yamaha beginner. Very cool stuff. All right, guys, I need to stop blabbing. I just really like talking to you guys. So anyway, I love y'all very much. I'll see you guys in the next stream. If you want to catch me tomorrow, I am on Twitch and on Patreon. So doing 2 live streams tomorrow. Practice stream in the morning and then a patron live stream in the afternoon, at least in my time zone. Okay, so if you want to do that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, I will see you guys in the next live stream. Love y'all very much. See you guys next time. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Goodbye.